You got a crystal mine and a crystal research center. So you know what that means. That means we're in a new KvK. That means we get to check out all the crystal tech changes that was mentioned in the update notes. So in this video, we're going to talk about what are the changes, who are they good for, and what does it mean for you. Now, let's start with the crystal tech itself. So far, we can't see anything that we haven't seen before. It looks quite similar. Okay, there is one. So we notice the first change here. We got a new one here, which is Karaku reports, which means you will do more damage to the KvK Karwag version. And skillful operations used to be there. It just has been reshuffled a little bit. It's not a big change so far. So as we are scrolling towards the right, we don't see any big changes. Okay, so Karaku reports again, and that's version 2 or level 2 of that, and you do a lot more damage. So I don't know how difficult the KvK Karwak is going to be, but maybe you kind of need this. Now as we are scrolling to the right, we do see the 6th March option is there. We can see the 7th March option there as well. So in terms of the things, and troop capacity is the same, call to arms, and the increase to March is the same, call to arms 1 and 2. So basically when it comes to balance changes, in terms of the high powered high spenders being overpowered, that remains exactly the same. But you will get a bit more crystals when you're doing your Karwak event. Now let's talk about whether there's any changes in terms of how should you go about upgrading your tech. So you need to upgrade your treaties and cultural exchange 1 first. You then have to work on treaties 2 and cultural exchange 2. So that hasn't changed. So after you have done them, then you start working towards troop capacity. Now as you try to up your call to arms 1, you will see that it's going to mention prerequisites. It's probably going to be the same. So you just follow through whatever the system asks you to do so that you can get your call to arms. So treaties, cultural exchange, and then call to arms. Now after call to arms 1, you probably get it up to level 6. I think after you get it to level 6, you start working on skillful operations 1 and 2, and then you start working towards your 6th March. So that's the initial plan, and after that you work towards call to arms 2, and then you work towards 7th March. Now if you're a free to play low spender, you probably stop at skillful operations 2, and then you kind of start working on your barbarian related techs, because higher barbarians will give you a decent hospital build. So you do need to kind of work towards that rather than working towards call to arms 2. Call to arms 1 is probably the highest a low spender gets to. Now as a low spender, just like before, you do want to pick up the crystal supply, and that's probably $5 US, was $8 Aussie for me. You don't buy the Conqueror's Will, you wait for the mountain pass bundles if you're spending a little bit more. However, there is a new way to get crystals now, a pay to win way, I guess. So if you go into the crystal quest under crystal mines, you will see that you can buy so for me it was $23 Aussie, so probably somewhere between 15 to 20 US, and that's where that's another way for you to get crystals. Now there's a free version as well. Now in the free version you obviously get a lot less. Now I'm not going to say that either one of them is game changing, but then in terms of your spending order, you obviously get the crystal supply first, and then your next option could be the crystal quest, saying that the pop-up bundles that come, the $5 $10 ones, as you up your crystal mine and research center, they're probably more value. Now when it comes to the crystal quest, it's kind of worth getting afterwards. Like if you know that you're gonna spend like somewhere close to $100 in a KvK, you can, or over, that's when you probably pick it up. Now in terms of the quests, there's nothing out of ordinary there. It's the usual stuff that you'll do, as in doing bastion quests, training troops, doing barbarians, and everything else that you usually do in the game. So completing them is not going to be a challenge. Now how much of a balance change are we looking at in terms of this update? Well, not much at all. There's minor updates, some reshuffling here and there. It doesn't change how the game was played before. It doesn't give anyone too much of an advantage. It doesn't disadvantage anyone too much. Now let's talk about specific type of players and see whether we can articulate the impact on them. So let's talk about free to play first. Is this a good update for free to play? Definitely not. It increases the balance between, or it increases the difference between free to play and low spenders, because low spenders, as long as you're buying a little bit more over the crystal supply, the $5 one, there's more options for you now. So low spenders will have a little bit of an advantage over free to play. Now low spenders compared to medium spenders will have a bit more of an advantage, because obviously there's more things to buy now, especially the crystal quest option. Now high spenders, it probably doesn't make a difference because they still get to take out the big marches, and they get to take out 7 marches. That's where we'll wrap it up today. That probably covers the update in depth and gives you a good idea about how to go about your crystal tech. And for more videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe.